All right, now could I please have a motion to call? Thank you.
I move that we open meeting.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. May we all introduce ourselves, and then we'll read the mission statement for our live TV audience.
Hi, I'm
Introducing.
Myron McGellany, I'm a board member.
I'm Barbara Sanborn, I'm Chair of the Board.
Laurel Pahalski, Vice Chair of the Board.
Irene Thomas, board member.
Linda Brown, board member. Deborah Stevenson, board member.
Thank you. Laurel, if you would please read the,
And Alyssa Lee.
Alyssa Lee, Director.
sorry.
Okay, I will read the mission of the Council on Aging. The mission of the Council on Aging is to advocate for Groveland's older adults, to identify their needs, to develop and implement services to meet their health, economic, social, and cultural needs, to encourage maximum independence, and to improve their quality of life.
Thank you. So we have two sets of minutes to be approved. The first one is August 16th, 2023. Are there any questions or discussion on those minutes? Okay,
I make a motion to accept the minutes of August 16th.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And now we have the minutes of September 18th, 2023. May I have a motion to accept those? Any discussion, first of all? Okay.
Make a motion to accept.
Linda and
Second.
Laurel, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Treasurer's report, does anyone, I know Marie's not here.
So I submitted the financial report on the last page of the board packet. 2 months into the year, nothing too exciting going on. The big financial highlight being that the formula grant will come in in October. And then we have successfully completed the calendar year grant of 2023 for the DOT grant. So those are in and closed with monies to be used.
So that money did come in finally, that
The-
DOT
yeah,
grant money?
Yeah,
Yay.
DOT grant, yep.
Yay.
Yeah, so those are the two big ones, but certainly if anything stands out, happy to answer questions. I mean, you'll notice if, I'll just put it out there, that salaries are probably a little off target in regards to the outreach and van driver just due to absences and paid for hours in office. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And now this segues right into the director's report.
Fantastic. Well, I know there's a lot on the docket today, so I can just do a brief walkthrough unless anybody has questions right off the bat. I'm more than happy to answer. Yeah.
The only question I had was, were the last newsletter mailed to everyone in Groveland?
Yes.
If you get it via email?
Yeah, even if you got
Because
an
we never
email.
got one.
And so we
Okay.
did receive a handful. We didn't count them, but my guess is probably around 40, 50 that clearly weren't delivered, and we got back. So I don't know the reasoning why.
Did everyone else get theirs?
I got two. I got one, and then 2 weeks later, I got another one.
Yeah, I never got mine.
Would you like
I just
one,
got
Deb?
mine like
Sure.
two or 3 weeks after.
I mean, I read it electronically,
Yeah, yeah,
but I was curious because I
absolutely.
kept thinking that it was going out to everyone.
It did.
And then I never got it, so.
I think it kind of depended on, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think it kind of depended on whose mail truck the man in Groveland gave them to. You know, he probably gave them to some trucks to put on and didn't give them to others, because otherwise, why would I have gotten two and you didn't get
Mine
any?
was 2.5 weeks late.
Yeah, and
Your area got
Oh.
one.
I finally got it last week.
I see. So they weren't addressed.
They weren't addressed, yeah, so
Got it.
it's supposed to be per resident, and so, you know, this is my first experience in Groveland. In Boston, absolutely would have happened like you all have experienced. they would tell me that it would be delivered based on the carrier's load for the day. So that means that people would receive it at different times, but certainly within a couple weeks span. For Groveland, I was told that the day that we put them in is the day that everybody will get them. You know, I think maybe they were just misinformed, but now we know for future reference. I am disappointed that it does seem like a few households
Well, I'll have to ask
did
Marie
not get it.
if she got hers, because we have the same.
Right.
The same street.
Last time I heard, she was still waiting, and you were still waiting
I
to
got
hear
it.
yours. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have a mail truck come, or a walk?
a
Okay.
truck,
yeah.
yeah.
'Cause
I'll have
that's
to
what I
ask
think,
her.
if it's a
It's the same
walking
as
mailman,
mine.
it's like, I can't carry all this,
Yeah,
you know, a
yeah.
mail person.
Should be.
No.
I think it is
Okay,
the
thank
same
you.
as mine.
Yeah.
I just
yeah,
wanted to clarify.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I
We
did
did-
get mine missing.
Did you?
My husband just didn't tell me.
We did get a really nice response. I think those were at Groveland Days. We had a number of people come up to us and say that they had received our newsletter and that they enjoyed it. I know I got phone calls saying that, you know, they appreciated, one, having the newsletter mailed, but two, also sort of the new formatting that we were trying out, just in regards to streamlining things and making print able to read and so forth. So it was nice. And we definitely got some Friends raffle tickets because people came ready to Groveland's Days to give them out. So you all have the board report. So if, you know, a couple, I guess I will remark on the challenges piece. You know, of course, a lot of really great things going on, but a couple of challenges that I'm coming up against that would love to share with you are Market Basket gift cards. We've definitely seen a huge uptick in requests for those, and we're going through them very quick. Because I think not only is there clearly a need, but also because word of mouth, right? It's getting out that we have this service that is of need that others are looking to be a part of. So I think we are very unique that we have this generous supply from the community and in particular the you know, Congregational Church. But we may need to sort of look at how we can make it sustainable because I was going to say we're in a unique process that most people don't give out gift cards in the manner that we do. They might give them out on a special occasion, particularly around, you know, holidays, Thanksgiving, Easter, that kind of thing, but not necessarily on any regular basis. But I do think it's needed. People tell me it's needed because they have to buy, you know, supplemental items to maybe their special diet or toiletry items that we have some of, but not enough for everyone and those things. So any thoughts on that? Definitely always welcome to hear.
Roughly how many do you think are distributed per month?
Probably about 20 a month, almost.
So that's like $500
It's a
worth every
lot of
month. And I
money.
know we've been giving
Yeah,
$600 a quarter
yep,
worth from
From
the
the
church.
yeah.
So, all right.
And that's just happened recently, so maybe it'll go back down, though I would suspect probably not. But, yeah.
Are there toiletries that are a consistent request that we don't have? I'm just wondering if it could go on Facebook or something.
Yeah, so
That
Nisha
these are
does-
some needed, because
Yeah.
she's been so effective with her phone calls
Yeah.
and with the Facebook postings.
She does put out the wish list. It is sort of a bigger wish list, but maybe, yeah, we could target it.
Focus on,
down.
yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing, I know Bergen Daily, the children's librarian, is doing a monthly thing
Yeah.
with the children, so maybe if we say there's a real need for ABC, or
Absolutely.
even gift cards, although I don't know if she'd be comfortable collecting
Yeah.
all of that. But, you know,
No, that's a great
definitely
idea.
whatever toiletries you find that,
Uh-huh.
you know, maybe, I know she did a paper goods one, I think, one time with,
And also laundry detergent and
Yeah.
things like that, you know, so, but that's a great idea. And, you know, going off of that, there's no reason why we couldn't go out to other organizations and maybe do the same thing and sort of focus our ask others.
Okay.
Yeah, then, my other sort of challenge, I know I spoke to Barbara about, is as I am learning, the role of the COA director, again, my background really has been traditional nonprofit, and I have one board. But in this case, sometimes I feel like I have two boards. So I would find it really beneficial if would like to propose that there be a joint meeting between the COA board and the leadership of the Friends Board, so that we can go over the mission, the activities that one does to support your mission, and include the COA office too, so that we know what these three groups are responsible for and how we all come together collectively for the older adults in our community. So just putting that out there, that I would be very appreciative if something like that could happen.
Yeah.
We could,
Maybe that should be, we had talked about doing focus areas. Maybe that needs to be our first focus area,
Yeah.
for a specific focus for each meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could do that.
So we can, where we have some of the board members here, we can set up a date and time to do that, perhaps today.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you what to do.
Well, our next meeting
Well, when is the next
is
one?
October 18th. Would that be?
Would that work for you?
Oh, so you need to have it as part of this?
If we have a focus area every month, and we want to make that one of our focus areas, the next meeting at which we could do that is October 18th.
Right.
Is that timely enough
So
for
we would be
you?
focusing on joining.
Discussing.
Yeah.
Okay. At this time.
Okay,
Thank you.
great.
Yeah, I mean, those are the big things. Certainly, if you read the board report and have any other questions, please don't hesitate to stop by the office, call, or email me. The other just sort of fun thing is that I'm going to the MCOA conference. This will be my first time. It is held in Danvers. I will be traveling back and forth.
Danvers, ooh.
I am excited to, I took a look at the schedule, definitely trying to focus on areas that I'm not experienced in and learn as much as I can and, meet as many people as I can so that I can go back to them to be a resource. The other note and sort of ongoings is the newsletter deadline. I think I'm probably asking for it a little bit earlier than normal, but I would ideally like the 9th, but I will give you to the 16th, but I would really like the 9th. So then we can have plenty of time to get it edited, printed, and the November 1st is rapidly approaching that close deadline. So, yeah, putting that out there. The other thing for the town is that the FY25 capital improvement projects are due October 4th. It's my understanding that the COA hasn't asked for anything other than the van as of late. So if and when you have thoughts or ideas, be it now or later, more than happy to talk about that.
Do you see any capital needs at this point?
Other than a senior center, no. I really don't. I mean, you all have been, in the COA office have been really great on making sure that we have, and the Friends, that we have the equipment needed to do our jobs and to do it well. The only thing would be, and I know it's been under discussion before, so I hesitate to bring it up, but
The shed.
if, huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. shed, but I think that's happening. But is a freezer that is a stand-up freezer that we can open up, because right now we have sort of like your traditional meat freezer, if you will, right? And so you have to sort of, one, hunch over, two, you have to dig up things if you want something that's not presented at the top. It's also very hard to separate meat, vegetables, and frozen bread. So that's something that, might be worthwhile, but it's certainly not $20,000.
I think aren't capital improvements only over 20,000?
Yeah, but that's the only need that,
So you said
No.
the shed is happening, you think? Is that through,
the breakfast exchange.
it is through that, you think?
That's my understanding, is that we were
I
hoping
mean,
for that
because
to
Larry and I went to that breakfast,
Yeah.
and they were very positive,
Yeah.
but I didn't know if they had followed up or followed through.
I think it's still a work in progress, that sort of where those, well, one, learning how much the funds will be, two, where the shed will come from. I know there's been talk with Nisha about Whitaker potentially building a shed. Whittier, sorry. As opposed to getting it through Amazon, and that would certainly be my preference.
Yeah, because that's like the library shed.
Yeah.
That they built that, so it'd be great if it looked the same almost,
Yep.
and I think they even talked about putting it over that direction.
Yeah.
So it'd be,
But we could go that way. I'll look at the details exactly, see if there was anything formal submitted. That would be, but again, probably not $20,000 a shed.
no, no,
That would be one heck of a shed.
that would be a house. Okay.
Okay. Anything else on the director's report? Any questions or?
Did you see any trends in the numbers in programming services? Anything that made you go, wow, or, I'm wondering why this number changed, or anything like that? Did anything pull your attention and make you question or
I
be
mean,
impressed?
yeah, I guess the short answer is no. So a couple things on that. One, last time I spoke about that Nisha and I were adjusting the categories, because over the years, people kept adding and adding and adding. So we narrowed them down to sort of be a big bucket. So we have 3 buckets, a large one, medium, and then a final, assistance bucket. And so I think there's some variance because of the category name changes. And then, of course, the big variance being because of staff transition in the summer times and
Okay.
before. So nothing necessarily concerning to me at this point, just because I'm not 100% on confidence in regarding to, if anything, the numbers would be higher. I guess that's what I would say. It's, for those that have been in the pantry, we know it's busy, and we really try to record every single interaction. So we record when people call us. We record when we do something to follow up on those people that called us. We record when people come into the food pantry, if they had any additional questions when they come into the food pantry, all in an effort to really provide the best service that we can. And because we are a small staff, to be able to keep one another in the loop about how to follow up next with the person. Did anything stand out for you?
No. Well, the high number of interactions.
Yeah. Yeah. So those ones I feel like is a good number, because that's a quick, easy interaction. Or you check in yourself. So.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
and that's
yeah.
what I was wondering, if the
Yeah.
key card, or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it,
So that makes it
did
easy.
make it, yes.
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 Okay,
If you remember to do it. So remember to check in today.
Yeah, so we're definitely having a huge number of interactions, and again, that encompasses everything from phone calls with individuals, to phone calls with agencies, to site visits, to pantry, to drivers and so forth, and it's a lot.
I'm just wondering, I don't know if Pat is still doing the phone calls. Does she?
She does.
She logs all of those in too, like in
We have
terms
her
of?
list and then her hours, yeah.
So, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So that should have increased them.
And we have good news about Monday, Tuesday van driver?
Yes, thank you, Irene. Yes, so Joe Walsh will be starting as a Monday, Tuesday van driver as of October 2nd,
That's next week.
next week.
All
Yeah,
right.
so very excited.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
And did you find a?
So I think we're still working and accepting applications for a substitute van driver. So Maureen kindly is staying on that sub list, and we are still looking for people just to add on to that list because it's needed.
And is Maureen doing Wednesday, Thursdays right now, or who is doing that?
Not Wednesday, no. So we don't
She's
have
out.
anybody for Wednesday and
Okay.
Thursday. It's really, Maureen has dedicated a couple of Thursdays to us to make sure that people can continue to go grocery shopping and a few rides. But other than that, we really have been relying on NEAT to do the one-on-one rides.
Would Joe fill in until,
We'll
Franklin's
ask him
back?
about his schedule. He does
Yeah.
have another opportunity that he works on other days.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, I think same as Maureen, that I think people are flexible, you know, if they can be and help us out.
okay, good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, if there's no other questions or information on the director's report, then under old business, Groveland Day 2023.
I asked for this to be on because it's kind of fresh in our mind, what we did this year. It was my first Groveland Day in a couple of decades, so it's kind of a eye-opener for me. I had hoped that we would be able to, as a Friends, member of the Friends of the Groveland Council on Aging, had hoped that we would get a few more memberships in the Friends, but we're competing that day with a lot of other groups, and I think it was probably misguided on my part to expect. I think we got 2 new members for the Friends. 3. But we were able to sell a few of the calendar raffle tickets, so that made it worthwhile. But I think going forward, Alyssa, you thought that maybe the COA itself should have a presence, and then we would be an adjunct to that?
Yeah, that was sort of my feeling. Certainly you all and Friends do, you know, take lead how you would like, but I do want to make sure that the COA office is there really to spread word about the services, you know, really the essential services that we offer in addition to, you know, the combating the isolation piece with recreation and social services. Yeah, we're part of the town. It's a town day, so I do want to make sure that we are there and, you know, happy to support the Friends, you know, in any way they can if we wanted to share a table or something.
Well, you were the advertisement for the COA, down there on the field. You just out there, you talked to people as they walked by, so it was like you were almost wearing the 2 hats. It was great. I appreciate what you
Thank you.
did that day.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed that.
It was hot. Let's hope for next year, a little bit cooler would be nice.
So, but I also think moving forward, having some signage, having, I noticed that a lot of the tents that were on the main thoroughfare had a front and a back, so that they could handle people at both sides. But I
Yeah.
think going forward, we keep all of this in mind and
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
bigger presence next
Yeah.
year.
I like the front and back idea. Yep.
And our observation under the tent was that people, because of the way the tent is set up and the tables were set up for checking out from the book sale, people were going right by us. And so next year, we're going to switch places so as they exit the tent, they're walking by the
Oh, I like
Council on
that.
Aging table.
Yeah. Nice.
Or we could just have one location. Maybe don't need
That's-
the second location. And the other idea was to have something to draw people in,
Yes,
an activity of some sort.
Like face
Um,
painting, so that the kids are there, and we can talk to the adults.
Throw the
and-
kids in, and
Yes.
parents have to come with them.
Yes. Because we did get quite a few
Younger.
people come up that were younger, that did have kids, and like I said, some that did receive the newsletter and said, hey, I would like to support this, so, yeah.
Okay. Anything else on Groveland Day?
Nope.
Update for the van driver's position, we've covered that. Pantry and food service update, anything to report on that?
I did put in the numbers on the pantry list. Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, it's on the back
On the
side.
back, yeah.
Yep. So the COA for the month of August provided attendees of the food pantry with about 1,008 pounds. And then in July, it was about 902 pounds. Yeah, so I think, we're continuously working on improvements in the food pantry area. I wrote a how-to for the volunteers specifically, to make sure that we are aligned with Janet and outreach and that everybody is coming together. Always open for suggestions and improvement. Linda was there a couple weeks ago. She gave me some tips. Which is good, because when you write them out, it's different than actually doing it. So I think we're in a good place, but again, always just working on it. But I think the main thing being that, on Wednesdays, getting food out is a priority. It is a essential service that we are providing to our community. And so thankful that we have the volunteers that we do to make it happen. I think, we'll probably just keep seeing more and more people utilizing it. On that note, I've received notice from Our Neighbors Table that the Greater Boston Food Bank, who is, partners with Our Neighbors Table, will be doing our pantry inspection. We don't have a date set yet, but we're working to coordinate on when that will be. And it will be over, I think they do it over Zoom, so we show them on the camera what we're doing. But somebody from Our Neighbors Table, I think, will be in person here.
And I'd just like to thank the COA staff. They've taken over responsibility for scheduling the volunteers, which is something that the board had taken on while we were understaffed. But thank you all for doing that. I appreciate it. I think it makes a lot more sense now that we're fully staffed. It eliminates the middleman.
Yep.
So I think it's,
Yeah, and Nisha's actually taken that on as part of overseeing in the next year, volunteers in general, so that we can sort of widen that pool. She did make an update to integrate it into My Senior Center, so that people who are interested and able to volunteer, they can sign up online still, but do it through My Senior Center, so we can still capture all of that data. Thank you.
All right, if there's nothing else on the food pantry, Friends of the Council on Aging update.
This afternoon, John and Joanna, Lisa Collins, and myself are meeting with Joe Demore. Is it Demore or Demore?
Demore.
Demore? No, yeah, again, Joe
Well,
Demore.
the E's there, you don't say it.
To talk about the Sullivan bequest and what we might do with the funds when we receive them. John, do you want to add anything to that, the meeting we have today?
I'd like to bring up the issue of the visit to the 646 Washington Street.
Okay. Go right ahead.
I think
There's,
I can bring it online.
there's one here that's not being used.
There's also a seat here.
Here you go. Okay, 46 Washington Street. What was the response of the group?
When we met on Tuesday with Mike Dempsey,
Right.
we heard his proposal. There was a Friends of the Groveland Council on Aging meeting, but many of the board members also attended. And we listened to his proposal for using that as a senior center space and using CPA funds for helping to fund that. And I think that the feeling of myself, and I won't speak for other board members, I'll let them, is we just came through a very trying year in the Council on Aging. We seem to have all our ducks in a row right now. The organization is running fine, but we need we need some time to get our programs up and running. And there was really nobody at the table who was willing to take the lead in getting a senior center rolling right now. And in the absence of that, I asked Mike if the CPA fund deadline is for this December was a reasonable one, that maybe if we use the CPA funds that we we revisit that further down the road. But as of right now, I don't see, for myself, I think that we have other priorities rather than moving right now on the senior center. We certainly don't want to bring it before the town unless we are well organized and have a plan in place, and I just don't think that between now and December we can do that.
Okay, I just think that the bird in hand is better than several in a bush, but if that's the situation, that's the situation. I'm disappointed, needless to say, because I felt that we could fast-track this very easily. There's a process that you can go through. You can put an application in, proposal to the CPA board and get their approval. We could then start using an architect and getting a building committee going, and things could start to happen. But since that isn't going to happen, just realize that this is probably your last shot, because I'm not going to be wasting my time on this anymore, to be honest with you.
Wait, can I add? I can pick this up, right? Yeah. Okay. I can't see it. Or they all go over here. So I just wanted to say, first off, John and Valerie, like, your contributions and effort to putting in the last time around is just tremendous, and I fully plan to utilize that information as we continue the process, because we're not stopping the process. I do think we just want to move with purpose and intention, being mindful of our resources, both with funds, but also time and capacity of people, including you all and the staff of COA. I did propose or ask really for clarification at the Friends meeting of, how do all these groups come together, right? Because there are so many stakeholders beyond just us in these groups as well. So as you did the last time around, really seeking input in all of those surveys and information that you put together and making sure that we're following up with those, right, that it's not lost. So I do want to continue the process, and I think having a committee or a task force, whatever we call it, of representatives, I think it needs to be a small number. I will say that because too many cooks in the kitchen, right? So, but making sure that each stakeholder does have a representative so that we can move forward with a point person with a united front in wherever we as a collective group come together. So I know there were a few people at the last Friends Up meeting who are interested in being part of that. I don't know, John, if you are or not. Either way, I don't want people to feel if they aren't in that small group working group to put forward. Number one, first and foremost, is that information will and must be shared with people. So nobody will be out of the loop and nobody's voice will not be heard. It's just sort of a more, I think, just a way to be succinct in a working fashion. And I would like to start those meetings sooner than later, because it's already been, as you said, so many years. You put so much work into it, and I think we can figure out how to continue moving forward from the work that you've done and having this additional opportunity. What does that mean, and really fully assess it of how we want to move forward. I personally feel, as I spoke to you, John, so I will put it out there, that I do not see the urgency to move fast on this Washington Street property for a number of reasons. Most of them being that, it's been, again, the time and capacity piece for staff and leadership to take it on. I don't think it's the right fit or size for us, and I think it's going to take still a few years out to make it a reality, and is that a reality that we're going to be happy with, or do we want the reality of the plans that you made, because that looks great, versus the Washington Street plan. I think it's only like 4,000 square feet, right, for Washington?
No, it's more than that.
I think at the meeting, Mike had said somewhere the building.
Yeah,
the
that's
usable spot
that's
is
the
around
two, that's the
4,000.
two floors, but
Yeah.
there's 3 floors, so you
Yeah.
can make it a little bigger than that.
Yeah, I will say I was at the Merrimack Senior Center. They have 15,000 square feet, and they're out the walls right now.
They've been wanting to move into a bigger
Yeah,
facility
yeah.
for quite a few years.
Exactly.
But they're really hopping over there.
Well, but our towns are of similar size and of similar senior population. So there's no reason, as we said, we have over 1,000 interactions serving seniors. We would be hopping too, if and when we have a space that allows for, a welcoming and belonging atmosphere for people to come to.
Very good. Okay, fine.
My question, too, I was unable to attend that meeting, but, excuse me, once you apply for the, is it CPA? CPC? I always mix
CPA.
CPA funds. Isn't there a timeline, a deadline that money must be used, that has been allotted within a certain time period? So we would be really having to move. It would have to be done in
No, I
like
don't
3
think
years.
so. Mike was talking to me about that. He was saying it's going to be done in 2 sections, the preliminary piece and then
okay.
the other. No, it
That
can
was just it. I
it
wasn't at
can
the
be
meeting.
broken up. But okay,
Yeah.
but this is all pie in the sky at this point. So
Right.
we'll leave it alone. Thank you.
And as Alyssa stated, we certainly want to move forward with the senior center. I mean, it's really on the forefront right now for everyone, but we do need time to get everything organized, and there isn't even an agreement yet that the Center Street property is the best option. We need to really look at that, and then also look at and compare it to the wonderful plans that you came up with for behind the police and fire station.
There's no comparison. There is no comparison at all.
No, I know,
But
and we need to look at,
the first one failed miserably, and I suspect it will fail again miserably, but I hope I'm wrong. If you had funding for the less than desirable property, it would probably go through because there'd be very little cost involved for the town. That's what I call a bird in hand is better than 2 in a bush. But that's my opinion, and that's my experience, and over the years, I know that this town pretty well, and they're not prepared to cough up money for the seniors. It's all as simple as that. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Larry, I do have one question. You said whose meeting coming up? Did you say you have another meeting?
Later today, the Sullivan bequest to the
Yes.
Friends, it's going to be released to the Friends, and we need to know what to do with that money, so we're getting some financial,
And is that Joe D'Amour's role?
yes.
He's the financial volunteer.
Thank you.
I would also say that Barbara mentioned the Center Street, so I believe John was talking about the Washington Street property.
Oh, sorry.
There is that option of Center Street, and I believe that is in the town's plans right now. So I do think there are options available. Yeah.
I'm not aware of Center Street. Where are you talking about?
strawberry fields. So the town highly encourage everyone to look at the plan. There is a survey out there about what do the residents of Groveland want to do with it, and part of that could be a senior center location too. As John mentioned, there's always pros and cons, right? Is it a little further out? Yes, but maybe what comes with it might be worthwhile. I don't know, but that's why I just want to be intentional in making sure that we make space to fully look at our options, yeah.
Strawberry Fields is an enormous desert because it was a sand pit and there's nothing growing there. It's a pretty miserable location, I must admit.
Myself, I really love our first one at Fire Station. It's a perfect location.
I agree.
There's everything there. It's not in there, it's about to get more funds. But that's what thank you, that's what I really feel.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
I
that space.
personally, with our options on, again, we are so far from making a decision, but if, let's say, we had to, that would be my preference. I think we could really use the leverage of this gift of saying, hey, look, we have this, now, we need the town's support. And not only the town proper, but, the residents of Groveland, that we already committed these hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you're not in it alone, we are moving forward.
And my question is, this is the first time that I have heard that CPA funds can be used for a senior center.
Only on restoring buildings, not on
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're
That's how
restoring
that's
a
out.
historic.
Okay.
Only on restoring
Thank you.
old buildings.
Okay,
No, that's not a requirement.
thank you.
But if they do make it, because if the town, again, who knows what the town ultimately will do with it, but speaking with a few people yesterday, let's say it stays in the town, they open it up as a spot, just like we potentially could use VC, like we can use Washington Hall, it can still be a satellite spot and a great resource for the community to use for a number of different things. And so hopefully, something great will come of it no matter what.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, good. All right, I'm on my way.
Okay.
All right. September, October newsletter feedback?
Looks fabulous.
Yes?
Love the new format.
Looks gorgeous.
Great one. A lot of positive responses that I've heard, through town.
See you later.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, the 18th
Yeah.
is not good.
So
Every Wednesday.
clearly next time we'll have more pages to utilize because we won't have the survey in there and we will not have the Friends raffle in there. So, potentially we'll do an outreach spotlight, but if there is something more that you think that we
But
should do.
John, can you
Is there any
make it?
possibility that we could, through our newsletter, how we're talking about collaborating with other groups in town, that we could be a place where other groups could advertise their activities?
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Just in terms of, because the population that we serve through our mission is spread throughout the town, there would
Yeah.
be some tie-ins with other
Yeah.
groups, like the library or, the PTOs and things like that. So if they're doing an activity or fundraiser, because there
Yeah.
isn't a central place
Yeah,
and we could be that central
Yeah.
place.
absolutely. No, I love that idea. And the reason for my hesitation, I was thinking of advertising, and I'm like, oh, we can't do that. But yes, calendar listing for community resources, absolutely.
Yeah, we do that, like the community lunch at Groveland Congregational Church is in there usually, because it's a free lunch.
Uh-huh.
Even if it's something the scouts are doing,
Yeah.
like, oh, we're having our recycling, or
Yeah, we can
Or-
reach
we're
out.
selling reeds.
Or, VC has activities
Yeah.
and
Right.
Yeah.
the
VC, yeah.
Historical Society. It
And I
just-
did, on that similar note, did reach out to, after our meeting at VC to Vanessa in hopes of sort of creating a leadership group or meetings of organizations that are directly doing social impact work on the community so that we can do things just like that, Larry, of helping one another get out word about our activities.
I just wanted to mention it. At one point, we had talked about profiling, doing
Yeah.
a very brief profile,
Yeah.
perhaps on the cover of the newsletter every month. Just starting with the staff of the COA and then expanding to the members of the board, get to know your board members, get to know your town hall officials, get to know your police chief, fire chief, et cetera, and doing just a very small profile every month in the newsletter. And perhaps this next one, we could profile our new van driver. Get
That's
to
a
know,
good
meet your new
idea.
van driver.
Yep,
And
yep.
then do another person like every month after that.
I like that.
I like that idea.
I've already been profiled.
You what?
I've already been profiled.
Oh, you're going to be profiled again.
That
All
sounds
right.
good. Thank you.
Any other old business? All right, new business, the senior center has been discussed, unless there's anything else anyone wants to talk about that?
I would just reiterate, I can't. Somebody needs to name who is the point person. And I think at the Friends meeting, it was talked about, and I expressed my interest that that could be me. And so if it is, then
I
that would
think it should be you.
I think it should be you,
Okay.
too.
All right. So I will then work on sort of developing a sketch of a plan and next steps, particularly for a working group, so we can, again, Valerie and John, as you know, just put in so much work, so we aren't starting brand new.
Right.
We have a really good foundation to work from.
And the population of Groveland is changing
Yeah,
as well.
It's increasing.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, and the groundwork has been done by former board members as to visiting other centers and what works, what doesn't work. And, yeah, it should be you because you're the common denominator. And with the town, with the COA, with the Friends, with the board, with your person who
Okay.
shows up in all of these.
I just didn't want to
pieces.
overstep or.
Oh, no, it should be you.
It should be you.
And
Okay.
that's what I thought you were going to say when you moved over. And it's like, I'll be the point person.
So Laurel, I have a question. Those notes from the visits to a variety of centers, with whom do they reside?
We have them in the COA office.
Fabulous. Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
Yes.
I was just hoping all that research was
It is still there.
Still.
Yeah.
in our possession. Great.
And has anyone asked, the CPA, so why can't it be used for recreational? This is
No.
a recreational,
Outdoor recreational.
it's only outdoor recreational?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
That seems to be what they were focusing on.
Okay.
Or restoration of a historical structure.
So if we were to put in theory, if you built an outdoor area, CPA if you built a new building, but you built an outdoor area,
Picnic area,
like
whatever.
like a picnic area, whatever,
Ping pong,
then you
yeah.
could use
Yep.
CPA
Right.
fund. Am I understanding that correctly? You could use that for the outdoor
Right, so that
space.
might even
Yep.
be a potential expansion
Yeah.
at some point, a pavilion or something with an outdoor area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Thank
not
you.
for the
Not for the
structure
building.
itself. Correct.
we got it now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was surprised.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Preservation.
All right, thank you, everyone. Performance evaluation plans. Would assume that would be you to discuss that, or?
Has that been?
I thought it was about me.
It's about your performance, yes, yes.
Has that been completed for our assistant director?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for completing that. Good job.
Thank you.
And thank you for all of you who did get back to me with your comments that I then gave to Alyssa, and then she collaborated with. You got comments too. So some people did Barbara, some did me, and yeah, it all worked out. So I think, if I remember correctly, we have not set up or have we, a subcommittee to work on the evaluation. I want to say, I think I'm involved with that. We haven't done anything, or is that with the library?
That's why,
Mixing up my two people, my two things.
Was that part of the personnel subcommittee
it's under,
responsibilities?
for this month, our focus area was going to be subcommittees, so we can talk about that at that point, about
Okay.
clearing up subcommittees, establishing new ones, so that'll be the focus of that item on the agenda, which is a couple down.
Right, okay.
All right, so we can discuss that at that point. In the meantime, future programs is up next.
Okay.
Something's happening on Halloween?
Oh, sure. So in October, so the list is out there, but in regards to sort of social gatherings, we have Cider and Donuts on October 19th at 10:30 a.m. I'm sure we will provide some sort of structured activity. Thank you to Linda and Irene for joining us at September's social, which was Coffee and Conversation, where they got to know a lot of fun facts about the COA staff.
Personnel bingo. Very effective in expanding our knowledge.
And then we do have a Halloween party on Halloween itself, which is October 31st, 12 o'clock. We will have the Johnny Cash impersonator.
And do you need help with that? Because I got my babysitting day changed, so I actually can be here for the Halloween party.
We would love it. Yeah, just setting up tables and
Okay.
food and all that. That'd be great. Thank you. And then we are planning certainly November and October as we speak for the newsletter. Yeah.
All right, sounds great. All right, so moving on, our monthly meeting focus area for this month is the topic of subcommittees within the board. I just wanted to clarify now that there has been a change in the chair position, what boards we have, who's on each one, and talk about a couple of new ones. So starting off, we do have a personnel subcommittee, which to my understanding is Larry, Irene, and you were on as ex officio as the chair.
Right.
So moving forward, Larry and Irene, are you interested in continuing on the personnel subcommittee?
I am willing to, but I would also step aside if somebody else wants to jump into the foray.
All right, well, moving forward right now, the personnel subcommittee could be Larry, Irene, and myself as ex officio. We have a finance subcommittee, which is Deb, myself, and Laurel as ex officio. Laurel, would you be interested in continuing on that as and Deb, would you be interested in continuing on that subcommittee? And then I could be the ex officio.
I'm fine with it.
Or, I'm just asking as a question, because Marie has been serving as treasurer,
Mhm.
is that a logical fit? I'm just being her
Certainly.
voice in her absence,
Certainly.
wondering. Oh, and do we have limits as to the number of people that we are saying?
We need to keep it at 3, so
Okay,
it
so it
don't
doesn't
have to be a
be-
public meeting, right?
Right, otherwise it would have to be posted as a public meeting when you meet.
So, can we say, we will ask Marie, and if she can't, Laurel, would you be willing to? Or
I'd be
somebody
willing,
else?
I would be willing, but I think, I'm not financial. I relied on these two when, when I was acting as chair.
Right.
They were the ones that knew budgeting and knew finances, and
Right.
I just sat there going, I know how to balance a checkbook, that's it. So, I mean,
Then perhaps we
I
could-
would, if you if you can't find anyone
Okay.
else.
Well, I'd be happy to ask Marie,
Great.
and that way, as treasurer, she could be on that,
Mhm.
and Deb, and then myself as ex officio.
Okay.
All right. So I'll contact Marie. We have officially in the bylaws, we have a nominating subcommittee, but we really don't have a set group on that.
Yeah.
So with your extensive knowledge of this, you were able to come up with the history and who was replacing who in all the years. Would you be interested in being on the nominating subcommittee?
Yep.
Good.
Yes. I mean, basically, what has happened is we know, like, so many people have to go off the board, or someone retires from the board. We just put it out there for the board, if you know of anyone. And so.
Yeah, so that's really,
yeah.
that's what there is to it.
Yeah,
Linda, would you
it's not
be
like-
interested in serving on that as well?
Sure.
Can I add to what has been very successful in this board is, but also as you're planning, really taking a look at each of you bring incredible amount of skills, right? And so with, with finance pretty well locked down, do we need a finance person like we maybe need somebody that's been in the health industry or something like that? So I just might suggest as you move forward, perhaps looking at the skills that we possess and where are we lacking that we could add. Or, yeah.
Okay. Who did you just ask again? Me and who?
Linda,
Linda. Okay.
and she said yes. And then moving forward, we had just also talked about a subcommittee for the senior center.
Okay.
Would that be a subcommittee here? I'm just clarifying. Or I was in what I was speaking about was more of a working group of collaborators from these different boards and community.
Yeah, that's what I would agree with you, and we should probably have at least one representative from the board on that, one representative from the Friends, one representative maybe from the CPA,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, or the Conservation, who knows, but yeah. And a community member. Yeah.
So are you looking to have someone
Yes.
volunteer to be, I'll be that person from the board?
Sure.
Instead of maybe a committee?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, that wasn't me.
Is there anyone on the board or more than one person or who would be interested in joining
I know that was asked at the last meeting, and I can't remember now whose hands were raised.
Trudy's went up,
Yeah, but
That's right.
from this.
That's right.
and
Yeah.
From the Friends? And mine went up.
There you go.
So Barbara.
Well, I'm not, this is not a dictatorship. Anybody else want to?
No, if you're willing to be the board point person.
I am.
Okay.
Okay.
So was that for the senior center?
Yeah,
Sorry?
yes.
No, I got it. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Senior center.
Does anybody else have any recommendations, comments on subcommittees within the board? Laurel?
Relook at the bylaws.
Bylaws, that's what it was. I'm sitting here thinking, I know there was
Yeah,
something else.
And I will work.
That
I would
was the other
gladly
one.
be on that one.
Thank you.
because
I
I've
wanted to
done
mention
that
it.
before.
Bylaws subcommittee, because you certainly have history
Yeah.
behind
Done
that.
with the
I would
friend.
work on that too.
Great.
With that.
So Laurel, Larry, and myself as ex officio. Perfect. Thank you for reminding me of
Yeah,
that.
because that is something that really
Yes.
needs to be done every couple of years as we
Yep.
change and as we grow, so.
Thank you for that reminder. I was drawing a blank.
And can we just take a minute to define the role of the Personnel Subcommittee? Because there, in the absence of a director in the past year, we had some responsibilities, and we just changed some hiring, but we also have an evaluation component that we need to consider. So and we have a discussion about the role of the Personnel Subcommittee.
Okay, I believe it's in our bylaws as they stand now, what the personnel, so let me see if I can find it somewhere here.
I think I have that too.
Do you have it there?
I might
Oh,
have-
okay, if you
I
have
might
it
the bylaws.
I believe it
I might
does
have just the
describe
Friends
that
bylaws in
particular
this
one.
folder.
as the bylaws stand now.
Right, I remember we talked about that at our meeting last week, that the Personnel Subcommittee makes recommendations. But also, we had decided at that meeting that Alyssa would be the one to screen.
Right. we
Interview.
voted- Well, that was, yeah, we
Hire.
voted that
Right.
she has it. So as we go forward and change our bylaws, we could do that, make that
Right, that was.
permanent.
that
But I
was
thought there was also like the performance evaluation. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's just that you work on those things and then present it to the board, kind of thing.
Well, sort of like,
Larry, do you have
Laurel
the
did for niches, sort of taking the lead, but in asking each of you for feedback.
Right, to do it, because-
And/or developing
Because
the-
each one of you had different,
Yeah.
encounters or interactions with me, so.
Does he have them? I have mine.
Oh, do you
I
have yours?
mine. I
Is there
have mine
something
right
in
here.
there about personnel?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Personnel Committee, this is Attachment A, Board Committees. So it's at the end of the body of the articles. There are no page numbers, so that's the best.
Where is it? In
On the top it
bylaws? Oh, I
says
see, board
Model
committees, okay.
suggested bylaws of the NIMBY Council on Aging. NIMBY?
Much bigger than
What
mine.
is a NIMBY?
Not in my backyard.
Oh, this was,
I have a
oh,
couple,
we have several.
I have a couple of pages here only.
Yes,
Right, I have a couple of pages too. Is
just the
this
two. That's,
privacy laws.
I didn't bring
So that might be something in these committees when you meet, is to have a mission statement or statement of purpose. And then,
Right.
update it
Well-
at the collective meeting.
Shall we start with what's listed here and
right, that's what I was.
discuss and work from there?
Board committee.
It says the Personnel Committee supports staff and volunteer recruitment, training and support, and recognition. Activities of the committee are: A, be cognizant of local municipal personnel policies and procedures.
I don't have that document.
Oh,
You sure that's not just a
I have the
suggestion?
bylaws, but I
Maybe
don't have-
that's,
I don't
It's
either.
not in the bylaws.
Where did you get that one?
is this
Is
just
your
a
bylaws
suggestion?
2 pages, Larry?
Yes.
no.
Hey, I don't know where you got that big long
Pages
thing.
front and back.
See, that's not
Yeah.
Groveland.
Oh, this was, no, this isn't Groveland, this
Right.
was from the state.
Yes. So that's their COA state.
Okay, but if they've done the thinking for this,
We
This
could,
could
we
be a
could definitely
springboard.
pick, right, because I thought there was something, all it says is that it's a committee that needs to be,
Well, what do we think? Why don't we
The
just say,
only thing in
well,
the bylaws that I can see is that the standing committees are named.
right,
Right.
but with no,
But no definition of role.
So
So maybe
why don't we
that
just talk
falls
about
in
what
the
we
realm
think?
of each individual committee? Is that what you suggest? Is that, the c-
Yeah,
All right.
come up with a statement of purpose, yeah.
then maybe we should set a deadline for each of the subcommittees to come up with that and report back.
yeah, I think in terms of
That's-
the calendar, that the committee should report back at our next meeting.
yeah.
And here's what we propose to do.
so next meeting would be
I think October 18th.
like our mission.
It's our homework this week.
Yeah,
Committees,
purpose.
purpose.
It would be as
And-
simple as a few bullet points of, this is our role, this is our function.
Because it also, not only is it public, of course, but for thinking for when you do have new members come in, right? They know, oh, okay, do I want to be involved in that committee or not? Or who do I go to if I have questions, Yeah. And I'm more than happy to sit in on any of those meetings as you all would like.
And then, you know, we could incorporate that into the bylaws because, and using that document that you have from, because our bylaws, they're sketchy. There's
Well,
nothing.
they're supposed to be broad. I mean, that, it's,
Well, but there should be some other things in here, and we're not, yeah. And the same with the Friends bylaws.
Right.
Need to be looked at, but just to be safe, because I discovered that as I was chair, and, you know, trying to do all the things, but I don't think I can do that. Can I do that? And even when you had asked about the hiring, I'm like, yeah, you do it. And it's like, oh, no, you don't. And I'm so
Does
sorry
now.
about that. We both,
It's okay.
Eileen and I both
It's
said that.
okay.
Because that's how it had always been done.
Yep.
She does.
So, but there must have been a vote at one point that the
Yeah.
board had said
Yeah.
that. Okay, yeah. And we've done it now, so that's good. So next meeting, that's what each of these subcommittees need to come up with, correct? Is what you're saying? A little purpose and bullet points of their roles.
So each subcommittee needs to meet between now. I'm just going to clarify, because
Yeah, me too.
sometimes
I
we can't
lost
hear
it.
when you're
Yeah,
faced that way.
sorry.
So I think what we just said is that each subcommittee needs to meet between now and our next meeting and come up with just a bulleted list of responsibilities of that subcommittee that we can then share, vote to accept, and document.
Yes.
Is that correct?
yes, and I think that we're encouraged to meet with Alyssa as part of our subcommittee so that, you know, we're
Right.
not working at cross purposes, and she'll be the clearinghouse with, you know, here's your responsibilities. I think that makes perfect sense.
I'm happy to.
Okay. Is there any other new business?
Well, I'm wondering if we were supposed to continue making our monthly meeting focus areas, like, so October we have set, like, what are we going to
October
do in
we have set.
November, what do we do? Are we doing that today, or as each meeting comes next month, we will? Because my thought is, when we're doing this, is that it should occur yearly. So January is budget day, or December would be budget. January, each year, we return, and it's like on a calendar that this is what we're going to do. And if there's no new news about anything, it's like, well, yeah, they're status quo. But, you know, like, let's say we say bylaws in March, I don't know. Well, no, it would have to be earlier, because our bylaws have to be approved by the town. So it has to be on the warrant. So let's say we do it in July, and we work on it, the bylaws committee. So every July will be bylaws, how are you doing? We're working on it. We'll report on in August, or whatever, if it needs any doctoring or whatever. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So that it's a standing calendar that can be changed. It doesn't mean like you have to, but that we don't let these things slip by. Here, we're being very organized, and by next year at this time, maybe we're like, yeah, whatever. Personnel committee, yeah, they're doing their, everyone's doing their thing, and
I think some issues like budget will be timely, time-sensitive, but then there will be, but I don't think we need to do that in lockstep for every month, because issues might arise.
right.
So if we had a few that we knew, okay, budget is
Or
definitely
big
this
ones,
month.
right,
And
right.
a few that are required annually.
Reviews, that would be required annually. Budget would be, nominating would be,
I think that there are a lot of pieces in this, and maybe we need a subcommittee to sort that out.
we're so good at
I mean,
subcommittees.
or just, you know,
We can do that. We can do an ad hoc subcommittee to do that. I mean, because I think we're now in at least our third or fourth month about talking about this, and I think we need to make a little more progress in getting a calendar and knowing what things we want to talk about, because I think everyone has ideas of what they would like to talk about. So I'm
Maybe at
happy.
least for this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've only got, we know what we're doing in October,
November, December.
November. but there's a lot of topics, and I think this is now at least month 3 that we've kind of talked about it a little bit. So if you want to do an ad hoc subcommittee, I'm happy to be on that subcommittee, and it doesn't need to be a standing subcommittee, it can just be
Yeah.
something, let's get
Yeah.
together, let's brainstorm ideas and put together a calendar to then have that approved. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It certainly does.
So it's a focus
thank you, Deb.
area calendar committee.
Yeah. Can we make a good acronym for that?
Something out of that?
We got to make a good acronym.
Jeez.
Okay, so Deb?
Committee.
Anybody else like to be on that committee with Deb, that ad hoc committee?
I'll do it with you.
You would do it? Okay.
And that's not a standing committee, so we do not have to, well, we probably would report next, or, yeah, just have a,
And then we can also, if Alyssa has time, meet with Alyssa,
Right.
make sure that the things that we're talking about make
Right.
sense.
That the required topics, annual required topics are, there is a skeleton.
Right, and that we're,
Right.
the things that we're asking to discuss aren't like overwhelming.
All right, that's a great recommendation, thanks. Is there any other business? All right, then may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Record time. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
second.
All those in favor? So moved, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes, thank you.